show that. This tournament is wide open.
Georgetown had some unpredictability in its season, held it to 3 goals in a loss to Denver. Then they rattle off 4 straight wins. The offense goes nuclear, led by Aiden Carroll.
He was a man on a mission, the righty, 2-time captain, grad student. 8 goals and 2 assists against Villanova in the Big East championship game. This is a guy who was getting to the goal for himself. He was hitting all his step-down shots. He was leading the way big time.
Georgetown averaging 18 goals per game over its last 4. They will have their hands full with one of the best defenses in Division I.
I love the Blue Devils defense. Charlie Johnson is their best close defender. This is a guy who's going to get his hands on you. He was basically last year on the scout team covering Brennan O'Neill. He has emerged as one of the best cover guys in the country. And Aiden McGuire, perhaps the best short stick defensive midi in the nation. Last 6 games, teams aren't getting to double digits against the Blue Devils.
And Duke's had a hot goalie in Patrick Jamison. Georgetown has had a hot goalie as well, the Alabama slammer, Anderson Moore.
Yeah, sophomore righty from Birmingham, Alabama. That's SEC country. Played his club ball out of Atlanta, and man, let me tell you, Anderson Moore is the best clearing goalie and riding goalie. He is a supreme athlete, super fast and athletic.
Anderson Moore was the Big East goalkeeper of the year. Sophomore again from Birmingham, Alabama. Georgetown won its 7th consecutive Big East title last week. The Hoyas in the Big East tournament, they're shooting 46% lights out. Their opponents only shot 17%.
They needed it too. They were not going to get an at-large selection, so they needed the AQ, and there's Kevin Warren, who's done magical work at Georgetown. This team, you get that big AQ win, you got to go home, prepare to step up a level in competition and go on the road. This is a huge task.
And Kevin Warren played at Hofstra. He played for that man, John Danowski, a legendary Duke head coach, 3 national championships to his name. He has been a master of May, and this is a Duke team that has had a lot of different variations and wrinkles and tweaks throughout the season. They're hoping to play their best ball over these next few weeks. Georgetown wins the opening face-off. It's Charlie McGurran off the wings, and the Hoyas will go to work on offense. And Quint, we're going to watch early. What's the matchup Georgetown likes? Is there a matchup that Georgetown can win?
And what is Duke's defensive posture? What is their mindset here? The thought would be that Duke's just going to play man-to-man defense and try not to get involved in double teaming or sliding. Leave their defenders on an island and hope to win those matchups.
Aiden Carroll with the ball, Big East Offensive Player of the Year. 8 goals, 2 assists last time out in the Big East Championship against Villanova. He's picked up by Charlie Johnson. Here is Kevin Miller, 49 in black, an explosive freshman. Now the Notre Dame transfer, Fulton Bayman gets topside and scores. A young man who has been through 5 ACL tears. When he scores, his teammates break into that celebration. They appreciate his journey, his path, and his ability to stay with lacrosse.
5 ACLs. It's an amazing story. He's two-handed. He can get up the left hash. He does so. And when he scores, you can just see and feel the passion. Signature, celebration, down on his knees, the double fist pump. The first time he scored for Georgetown, the bench was so, like, what is he doing? And now they all mimic him on the sideline, and you see him go at it. Fulton Bayman has been a huge addition as a grad transfer.
He won 2 championships at Notre Dame, where he played behind the Kavanaugh brothers on attack. Had a big game in the Big East semifinal, 8 points. Ross Prince wins the faceoff. He was the Big East Freshman of the Year and the Big East Co-Specialist of the Year. Here's Bayman again, matched by Henry Bard. Carroll, Bayman, and the freshman from Charlotte, Jack Ransom, the attack. Second midfield gets its first run. Patrick Krogan, former Big East Rookie of the Year. Bayman, Georgetown's top assist man. Here's Lucas Dudemain. He has come on down the stretch. Was hurt most of the season. A lefty. 9 points in the last 4 games. Carroll drawing attention. Over to Ransom. Now Dudemain, the lefty. Defended by Jack Gray, a 4th-round pick in the PLL draft. It's dislodged. Loose ball, scooped up by Johnson. Or rather, Matt Christmas. Georgetown wins it back on the ride. Aiden Carroll.
They'll slow it down here. They got a fresh shot clock, and they can sub some different midfielders on. I tell you, amazing Georgetown. When you look at their season, they lose to Denver 7-3. 7-3 late in the season, and since then they've been on fire. One issue that plagued them early in the year, the lack of lefties.
That almost went in. Bayman to Cade Goldberg, the senior. A fresh 60-second shot clock. Here's Jordan Ray. Maneuvers around Jack Gray. Tried the old give and go instead. It skirts back. Miller with a bounce shot offline.
Georgetown, the more energetic team off the bus, without a question. They've been plagued by slow starts this season. They changed up their pregame routine.
Bayman feeds the wing. Miller posting up. Ransom, the feed to Goldberg. Patrick Jamison makes his first save. And now Duke will look for its first offensive possession.
Great body stop. Jamison deep on his line, gets that reaction down low. He's been really seeing the ball in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Had 16 saves last time out against Syracuse in the ACC Championship. And now Duke goes to work. Andrew McAdory, 2 in white. The 2nd overall pick in the PLL draft, taken by the California Redwoods. He's on attack with Eric Molliver, Duke's top point scorer, and the freshman Liam Kirschus. First midfield with Tomas Delgado, 7 in white, Ben Johnston, and Max Sloat. Here is McAdory, shakes free of McGurran, bounces it wide. Delgado was the breakout star of the ACC tournament. All 7 of his goals have come in the last 3 games. Here is Delgado, spins it back to Kirschus. Now Johnston dangerous with either hand. Defended by Ty Banks, Big East Defenseman of the Year. Shot clock inside of 10. Sloat has it trail checked away by Ranison. Shot clock at 2, Georgetown comes up with it. So first possession for Duke, 1 shot that missed the cage. Yeah. That's it.
Interesting matchup-wise, Ty Banks bumps up top to cover the midfielder. And look, this Duke first midfield takes a back seat to nobody. Kevin Warren of Georgetown knows that, and that's who you got to stop. You got to let Duke's attack beat you down below. Put your defensive force up into stopping the midfielders.
Georgetown on a 4-game win streak. They've outscored opponents by an average of 10 goals in that span. Here comes Krogan, alley dodge, skip pass, that worked real well against Villanova. Joe Caesar can't handle, able to recover, chased by Boyer. Still plenty of time for the Hoyas. Short stick matchup again for Krogan. Off the invert, finds Ransom. Carroll, the wing feed for Bayman. It was tipped by Duke, so it stays with Georgetown. 22 on the shot clock. Bayman accelerates. Flag down. Feed and a score! Krogan from Bayman, and it's 2-0 Hoyas.
Krogan, a former Big East Rookie of the Year. You see Bayman gets fouled, draws the double team running up the hash. Krogan fills the area vacated catches that right-handed and finds a way to find the net. And man, Georgetown right now is energetic, sharp, and crisp with the ball. Duke's defense on their heels.
And Quint with the penalty. Georgetown now faces off with a 3-on-2 advantage. Duke jumped, and right now the problem for the Blue Devils, Quint, they have been on defense the entire time.
One possession offensively.
This is a matchup to watch. Weakness against weakness. Georgetown has struggled with the extra man. Duke, amongst the worst teams in the country, man down.
8 goals on the season. 8 for 34 is Georgetown.
Jamison comes up with a big save.
See how Duke handles the clear now. Man down clear can be a little dicey. Clearing has been kind of a barometer stack for Duke. In some of their losses, they've had half a dozen or more failed clears. But when Jamison makes clean saves, Anish, they get the ball out much more efficiently.
Duke will run its first midfield again. Johnston, Delgado, and as soon as the penalty expires, it does, here comes Sloat out of the box. Delgado against the short stick, James Carroll. Now Sloat. Spins back to his right, he's a lefty. Johnston gets around Banks. Tries to fake the pass, it's knocked down. Hawes trying to pick it up. Out of a scramble, big ground ball early.
Nice scoop.
And it's taken away by Seamus Foley, the fifth-year senior out of Edina, Minnesota. Well, Georgetown catches a break on the clear.
Minnesota, big grounder there in a pack. Georgetown really, you can see their game plan defensively. Banks covering Johnston. They're sliding quickly to Sloat.
Here's the junior, Jordan Ray.
He can run.
Had 3 goals in the Big East tournament. Bayman a goal and an assist for the Hoyas. Cade Goldberg now gets free from McGuire. His pass tipped by Johnson, picked up by Miller, the freshman. .20 to shoot. Aiden Carroll looking to get on the board. Bard picks up Bayman. Shot clock into single digits. Carroll with 6. Carroll feeds the wing. That one got a piece of the pipe. It stays with Georgetown and a shot clock reset. And Duke now has to dig in deeper on defense, and it looks like Georgetown's going to get some fresh middies in there.
Slower tempo preferred by Georgetown. Why not rotate a fresh group of midfielders on?
Second midfield. Here's Dudemain along with Caesar and Krogan. Dudemain a lefty. Gray denies his strong hand. Now Krogan, a goal already. Carroll from the wing. A chance here for Caesar. 3-0 Hoyas.
He said the lesson from playing for Coach Dino was just how to treat people. And Hofstra with the Turnpike guys got it going. Just Kevin Warren was a defender out of Ward Melville, played for the legend Joe Kuzo. And that program played terrific zone defense. That was their staple. Multiple state championships in each from Suffolk County. And you see this man-to-man defense that Georgetown plays with zone principles. So that's the high school part of Kevin Warren's impact.
When we talk to both coaches, we've done a lot of Duke games over the years, but when we've had Kevin Warren, you can see a lot of the same Danowski mannerisms in Kevin Warren.
He's fascinating. He's great to talk with. So you'll talk to him for a half an hour, and he will make you laugh, talking about the Mets, Islanders, whatever, his shoes collection. And you leave, and you're like, wow, that was great. Do I have any notes for the game, though?
Right.
No, not really, but I was entertained.
But you know exactly what the Jets need in free agency. Here comes Johnston against McGurran. His pass errant. Duke so far only has 2 shots. They have not put a shot on cage. Meanwhile, Georgetown has made Patrick Jamison work. 7 shots on goal, 8 total, and Jamison's had to make 4 saves.
Yeah, and Duke looks like there's a little bit of a rustiness or a hangover from that double header in the ACC weekend down in Charlotte last weekend where it was hot.
Anderson Moore gets it over. You have to bring it across the timeline before the shot clock hits 60, but Georgetown offsides, and now Duke with a chance. Fast restart. McAdory to Johnston. You got the sense the Duke faithful wanted to see the Blue Devils push.
Yeah, Anderson Moore made the right play to cross the midline. He had to. The midfielder on the far side of the field has the onside responsibilities. I am surprised the refs didn't give Duke a faster restart because the net was empty.
Here comes Sloat. Pinballs off Ranison. Sloat right hand free, and he scores with his offhand. The redshirt sophomore from California.
Bay Area, he's a terrific athlete. He wants his left hand. He's being given the right alley. So what? He's going to take it. The change of levels while on the run. It's a high release to a low location. It's unstoppable. Max Sloat and Ben Johnston form the best 1-2 punch from the midfield in the country.
Ross Prince violated for Georgetown in the last faceoff, so Wilson Van Buren will take this for the Hoyas. Cal Girard now for Duke. You'll see the Blue Devils use Luke Engelke, Cal Girard, Ben McCarthy could get in there as well.
Letting him play, Anish.
Physical early. Christmas almost scooped it. Carroll has it. Kevin Warren might want to call timeout. He does. He understood the importance of that ground ball and that possession as Carroll almost got trucked at the end of the play, and a timeout by the Hoyas to salvage that possession.
This ground ball, playoff ground balls, you better have elbow pads on. Christmas goes for it, does a nice job using his foot to keep it alive to himself, but next thing you know, he's swarmed by a bunch of black jerseys. Carroll running for his life, and his coach bails him out with the timeout.
Under Kevin Warren, the first 5 seasons were rocky. 26 and 47. The last 8, 95 and 26. What's happened with Georgetown, they've put together some pretty good teams under Kevin Warren, and it kind of goes back to early 2000s where Georgetown was a tournament fixture, but it seemed they had a concrete ceiling in the quarterfinals. That has been just a hump they have not been able to get over. They've lost 10 straight quarterfinal games, and in their school history, they've only been to championship weekend once. That was 1999.
I remember it well.
They beat Duke to get there.
Dave Urich marched into championship weekend, and at the time, it was kind of a gradual build. Coach Yu, who passed away this year, built the program, and you're like, okay, Georgetown will be here every so often. Well, they haven't been back in a long time, and Coach Warren's got them on the cusp of being there. They've been a perennial top 10 team.
And you see DJU, that's for the late Dave Urich, who passed away in December.
Longtime coach at Hobart, 10 straight Division III national championships. Comes to Georgetown and puts that program on the map.
You think of some of those teams, Greg McCavra, Brody Merrill.
Scott Urich, coach's son. Andy Flick.
Here's Goldberg on the invert. His skip is knocked down. Ransom picks it up. Ray from the outside. Jamison read it all the way.
Jamison's going to do his part. He has ramped up the volume in practice. He's got a bunch of pro-level shooters working with him, and he's doing his part, and that's been a consistent in the last month.
There's McGuire. Tried to fake the pass. It's knocked down. Before the game, we were talking to Brennan O'Neill, the former Tewaaraton Award winner at Duke, now a star in the PLL. He's been warming up Jamison all season. Johnston with a good look. You can't simulate getting shots from Brennan O'Neill.
As a goalie, it's always great to work up. And what I mean by that is when you're in middle school, get shot on by high school kids. When you're in high school, get shot on by college kids. When you're in college, get shot on by pros.
Sloat, hesitation, left-hand bouncer,
Nice
more the
stop.
save. Off the rebound, it's James Carroll.
Sloat went to the same spot, and that was his mistake, Anish. Anderson Moore is not going to get beat by the same shot twice.
Carroll in trouble. Desperation pass picked off by Johnson.
And he ran himself to nowhere.
Duke wants to play fast. Quint, when you look at the middle of the field, it feels that's where Duke can have an advantage with the likes of a McGuire and a Gray and a Christmas.
When they've played their best ball this year, that group is supplementing the offense in terms of finding transition goals. Because as we said, this attack unit just have not performed at an elite level. So they need to find goals outside of the 6-on-6.
Second midfield with its first run of the game for Duke. Graham Blake 31, Chris Cusolito 32, and a Jack Papendick who controls on the far wing. Curtius. Cusolito, he saw Georgetown quite a bit. Former Providence Friar. Oliver, second leading scorer in the ACC. Tried to get topside on Foley.
Not happening. Duke operating there for a bit out of a 1-4-1 set with two crease men.
Here comes Curtius. Shot clock at 7. Papendick missed the cage. 4 to shoot. Closest to the ball and a shot that goes out of bounds. Awarded possession. Shot clock at 1. And Curtius threw it away before a delay of game. Georgetown ball. Hoyas.
Defense travels, right? Defense travels, and that's always been a consistent for Kevin Warren. When your head coach is a defender, your defense is going to show up. And I tell you what, the Hoyas fans were here early and with just wonderful energy. Not the biggest group in the world, but you feel them, don't you?
Didn't we see that earlier today in Chapel Hill?
Tell you, Richmond, great looking fans showed up for the biggest day in their lacrosse history.
Final 20 seconds. Short stick matchup for Aiden Carroll. Caesar swings it back. Dudemain, his shot. Not there. Battle for the ground ball. Bard, Carroll, tangled.
Playoff
3 black
grounders,
shirts
baby.
in there. Johnson getting involved. Only 0.3 of a second
Send
left.
it in front. You could draw a foul. No.
The Hoyas with 10 shots, 9 on goal. They made Patrick Jamison work. And Georgetown with a 3-1 lead after 15 minutes.
Graduation is what, tomorrow? Coach talked about having to keep the players away from their parents and friends Thursday and Friday and to focus strictly on lacrosse.
Yeah, John Danowski was honest with us. He said the team that beat North Carolina in the ACC semi, he said he felt that team had a breakthrough. Gerard wins the face-off. Over to McAdory, and it's stopped by Moore. Then he felt that Duke took a major step back with the way they played on offense against Syracuse on Sunday in the ACC championship. And Quint, this isn't germane just to Duke. We've seen this around the country with almost everybody except for Cornell, really, where at times You want to buy the stock.
That's right. That's right.
And then at other times, you're in sell mode.
Yeah, and everyone's got features and benefits, and everybody has one department that's kind of lagging behind the other.
Ray's shot saved by Jamison, who's up to 7 already.
Like even Princeton today in their win over Towson, I didn't love that Princeton defense at times. Got it blown away by that offense. They can outscore.
Goals.
They can outscore you, no question about it. But that's kind of typical of this season.
Princeton will get the Harvard-Syracuse winner in the quarterfinals. Ohio State Notre Dame kicks off play tomorrow. Buckeyes, the Big Ten tournament champions. Notre Dame, the 2-time defending champions, looking to become the first team since Princeton in the late 90s to three-peat. Sloat has the only goal for Duke. Moliver turns the corner and dunks it home.
Atlanta native and a Maryland transfer has overcome a severe knee injury. You see him at X, just a simple front swing. Defender gets hung up. You got to make a decision here defensively. Am I going behind the net or am I going to come in front? The defender elects to come in front. Molliver's given the goal line extended and takes it.
Molliver has authored a 30-30 season. Back in 2022 as a freshman, 48 points for an undefeated Maryland team, one of the best we've ever seen. Georgetown has won 5 of 7 at the face-off X. McGurran now finally picked up.
He's a menace, 37 in black, junior from Massachusetts, a former hockey player, terrific off the ground with that length. Kind of eyeing up his first goal. He hasn't scored yet this season, and he carries in transition quite a bit.
Does have a couple of assists. He mentioned he's from Massachusetts. Championship weekend in Foxborough this year. Carroll working on board, and he fires a rocket. Aiden Carroll, Georgetown's leading scorer. He's also a solo captain who got 51 of the possible 52 votes from his team. The only one not to vote for Aiden Carroll was Aiden Carroll.
2-time captain, man on a mission right here, running through the stick check. Duke electing not to double team. In fact, Christmas starts his breakout pattern. And Carroll, 10 points against Nova in the Big East championship game when this program needed it. His trajectory, 2 years ago, he scored 14 points. In 2023, he scored 14 points, and here he is, plus 60 points this season.
And a first-round pick of the Whipsnakes in the PLL draft on Tuesday.
Getting a guy who can play attack, getting a guy who can play midfield, you're seeing his compete level.
Gerard punches it ahead, but it's picked up by Georgetown. Acton. Now, Quint Carroll hurt a lot in high school. That impacted his recruiting. Was the last guy in his class at Georgetown when he came aboard. First couple of years, still reeling from those injuries, was a scout teamer as a sophomore, had some moments late in his junior year, took off last year, and he's now put together back-to-back 60-point seasons as a 4th year and 5th year.
Time of possession now taking its toll in this game.
There comes Carroll again, using the pick from Ray. Has the short stick matchup against the freshman Warrington. Carroll trying to get free. Spins it back on a bounce. It's Ray. Now Kevin Miller. I had one Big East coach tell me Miller could be the guy in this game because of his ability to go one-on-one, and he's able to draw the flag.
Physical defense by Luke Warrington, 6 in white. Georgetown's done a nice job in this game hunting the skip pass through the defense or over the top of the defense to the weak side of the formation. There's the hold. When you get under a guy's arm like that and you throw him around like a rag doll, Miller's not the biggest guy in the world. 5'9" freshman from Landon. School president when he was in high school. at that place. That's pretty impressive.
He tore his ACL in high school, was playing with no brace not too long after at a recruiting event, and coaches who saw him said, hey, wait a minute, how is he the fastest guy?
He can move.
Man up opportunity for Georgetown. They've struggled with the extra man. Duke has struggled man down this season. Ransom, inside feed, it's knocked down. A sea of white, one black shirt in there. And now it comes to Duke. Henry Bard.
They got numbers.
McGuire will counter. ACC Co-Defensive Player of the Year with Notre Dame's Sean Light. Kraus fires. Moore the save.
Run on a counterattack. Okay, that's a shot decision. I'm not sure how that's going to go over on the Duke sideline. You want to push it in transition, but when you take a step down from 15+ yards, you got to either put it in the corner or miss the net. Is probably the best, second best outcome.
Krogan dumps it, goal line extended. Now Caesar, who's got a goal. Had a couple of 2-goal games in the Big East tournament. Caesar denied top side. Ray cradles. Carroll spins it back to Bayman. Bayman against Nolan. Johnson came over to help. Ooh. Great interior passing, and it's Carroll who cashes in.
This was a little magic. There was nothing there. I mean, nothing there. You throw the ball late in the shot clock to somebody who's covered and draped. It's Ransom, I believe, right here. He's tied up really well, and somehow backhanded shovel pass to Carroll. I got to give John Hogan, offensive coordinator for Georgetown, all sorts of credit. This was a team and an offense that couldn't get out of their way middle of the year, and he stuck with it, stuck with the guys. They finally found life, and they're putting up big-time goal totals.
You look at some of their games early, 6 goals in a loss to Hopkins, 8 in a win against Penn. Held below 10 in a loss to Notre Dame. 10-9 win against Marquette. 7-3 loss to Denver. And
one of the worst lacrosse games you'll ever watch.
Probably. And then it's been an eruption. The last 4 games averaging 18 goals per.
Amazing.
Kevin Warren telling us they had a coming-to moment as a team after the Denver loss. And they also got Lucas Dudemain back.
Ross Prince, their face-off man, got healthy.
The continued emergence of Jack Ransom. But they have to contend with Andrew McAdory, who's trying to get this Duke crowd juiced. The number 2 pick in the PLL draft, and one of the fastest players in college lacrosse.
As a pro, will probably play midfield. He's being asked to play out of position, but when he's on a short stick, Georgetown's got to support that matchup. That's a communication failure by the defense. McAdory is going to smoke 99% of the players because of his speed and his acceleration. 3/4 arm release between the legs of Anderson Warren. You see his emotion. Duke stars Anish. Sloat, Johnston, McAdory, they got to show up.
He's had to play attack in large part because Duke just has not had a lot of production from that unit when McAdory hasn't been down there. Now, Molliver's had a good season, but Quint, we've seen sometimes against better teams, he's not as much of a factor. (5-3), Georgetown opened the game on a 3-0 run. Aiden Carroll, Big East Offensive Player of the Year, 2 goals and an assist. Carroll has had a hand in the last 3 Hoya tallies. Here is Carroll. Had 10 points in his last game in the Big East Championship. Second most by a Georgetown Hoya. Mark Murphy had 15 against Radford. Great interior feeding. It's Goldberg with the assist. And Georgetown doubling up Duke. It is 6-3.
Kate Goldberg out of the invert, the Floridian. Strong IQ, great vision, and Duke's defense.
Steal. Hoyas have won 7 of 10 at the face-off X.
Duke needs a spark.
Make it 8 of 11. Acton dumps it back to Hawes. Michael Hawes, a cousin of Will Hawes who played at Duke. Uncle John coached at North Carolina. Carroll has scored 3 in a row for Georgetown. 7 straight NCAA tournament appearances for the Hoyas. A couple of years ago, they were a 2 seed. Looked to be a team that could get to championship weekend. Instead, upset in round 1 by Delaware. Caesar gives it up. Coming down the alley, spin it back, Dudemain. Denied the left hand.
Georgetown's been super aggressive with the ball in East, but they're not being reckless.
They've made their shots count. Krogan. Back to X. Colton Bayman now. A veteran of the ACC. Inside spin move, Jamison there. That's his 8th save. And Duke sets up the clear. Again, the Hoyas putting shots on goal. That's 14 out of 15 now.
Krogan hit his inside roll probably a little earlier than most, leaving himself not much angle, and Jamison able to lock up against the post like a hockey goalie and make that stop.
Q, we have not talked much about Georgetown's defense because Duke hasn't had the ball a whole lot, but Ty Banks, number 17, Robert Platt, number 43, 2 of the best in the Big East.
They've been bumping Banks up to cover Johnston, but the second midfield's in now.
McAdory looking to shake Banks, almost did. Banks 17 in black. And a few good ones have worn that 17 for Georgetown. Gibson Smith, Brody Merrill, amongst others. Bolivar against the short stick Hawes. A lot of contact. Papendick has to give it up. Second midfield for Duke. Graham Blake with the shot clock at 15. Now Bolivar, shot clock at 10. Working on the short stick, feed in front, shot to score! Blake off the Bolivar feed.
Graham Blake has been a little bit of a revelation lately. Had a nice goal against North Carolina, the Harvard transfer. Watch him do a twister on this finish. He's running himself out of angle. He pays the price too. Ty Banks lights him up, and he catches this in traffic. Watch the finish, just a little bit of a twister. Increases his angle. Nice looking possession from Duke. Matt Danowski, their OC, goes with the second midfield. It paid off.
Winner of this game will get either Maryland or Air Force. Maryland, the 2 seed. That game tomorrow.
Maybe what we learned on that last possession from Duke is you're better off attacking this Georgetown defense from behind the net.
Gerard over to Gray.
The first midfield unit typically is not an invert unit. They like Sloat and Johnston in front of the net.
UFC 315 tonight at the Bell Center in Montreal. Prelims start at 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Main card at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. Johnston has it trail checked away. Curtius recovers. McAdory spins it up top. Plenty of time. McAdory now with the short stick. Herb on him. Here comes McAdory. Eyes up. Over to Sloat.
Try it again.
McAdory against the shorty Herb. Draws the slide. Johnston, defense moving. Missed the cage. 10 to shoot. Molliver the backup.
McAdory's going to be a nightmare to cover in the PLL this summer because of his quickness. He's got that low gravity, sudden change of direction, ankle breaking.
Here comes Molliver. Not sure what that was. It is a shot, but there's only 4 on the shot clock. They tell Delgado to wait. The shot clock now reads 2. Now they've reset it to 7. So shot clock issue.
That's a big difference, Anish. I thought
7, you can go.
I saw 4.
I did too.
All these fans from Georgetown saw 4. It's a big difference.
It said 4, then it went to 2. Now it's at 7. They haven't started play yet. Now they've corrected the shot clock. It reads 4. McAdory. No look shot. Moore clamps down. 6-4 Georgetown. Georgetown's had the ball for most of the first half. They've been the better team in the first half. Yet you look up at the scoreboard, Quint.
It's only 2. We saw this earlier today at Carolina with Richmond's comeback.
Ray gallops into the restraining area.
But it feels to me that Duke has woken up some. Anish, they've played better in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. We come up on 3 minutes to play. 3 tickets punched already to the quarterfinals. Penn State, Princeton, and Richmond. Last year, all chalk in the first round. Already one unseeded team has won, and that was on Tobacco Road earlier today when Richmond knocked off UNC. Here's a chance. Miller, big save. Jamison. Wilson corrals the rebound. Quickly up ahead. McAdory to Boyer. Pinballs off one, lost the ball. Duke corrals, they got a chance here. McAdory on the doorstep. Curtius brings Duke within 1. The Blue Devils thriving off the chaos.
How about the save? Patrick Jamison. Watch him use his body. Takes that off the left quad. Duke runs. Their initial push was stopped. They regain possession and then attack. It's kind of a 3-on-2-ish. McAdory with the dish down low. The freshman Curtius, and you see the celebration. Momentum can change quickly in lacrosse.
9 saves for Jamison, who set a career high with 16 in the ACC championship against Syracuse. And just like that, Duke within 1. What's changed?
Well, you talked about it, Anish, winning some of the battles in the middle of the field. That was a classic example. But I think Andrew McAdory has really been the catalyst. Unassisted goal. Picks up the assist on that transitional play. It hasn't been Ben Johnston and Max Sloat. McAdory's been the key, and Patrick Jamison standing tall between the pipes.
Fulton Bayman second in the Big East in assists. Behind Providence's Ryan Bell. Over to Caesar.
Danger here.
Johnson picks it up. He's played like a first-team All-American. Here comes Charlie Johnson. Charlie hustle. Missed the cage. We talked to Brennan O'Neill before the game. And O'Neal raved about Johnson as a one-on-one cover the last 2 years when Johnson was on the scout team and O'Neal was the best college player in Division I.
Talked about Charlie's intellect. Says it feels like he knows my move before I do it. Charlie came to Duke as a really talented football lacrosse athlete. He's worked on his stick skills. He's still got 2 years after this year.
Christmas a threat offensively. Quick shot, Johnston blocked.
Duke's energy level has just skyrocketed in the last 8 minutes.
And a timeout by John Danowski. 1 minute to go, opening half. Georgetown raced out to a 3-0 lead. They led 5-2 and 6-3, but Duke with a chance to tie the game here in the final minute. Now, we saw a little of this earlier in Chapel Hill, where it felt in that North Carolina-Richmond game, the Heels had a chance to really open things up in the first half against Richmond, and despite some sloppy play by the Spiders, Richmond was only down 3 going into halftime, and then in the second half, Richmond woke up. First NCAA tournament win for the Spiders. 9 shots in the last 5, 7 shots, and a chance to tie. Looks like Delgado will be the trigger man.
Delgado's got great speed. Would prefer his right hand. He's going to milk this shot clock and game clock down a bit.
He had 5 goals in the ACC tournament, 2 in the regular season finale against Virginia. That's all 7 for the season. Sloat to Johnston, rolls back to his left. Shot clock at 2, at 1, and it goes through! We've seen that twice now today.
Games on natural grass nowadays are outside the ACC. There's only one school in the entire country that plays on grass. That's Marquette. And so it's a challenge for goalies when you're playing on grass. You got to move your feet. Partial screen here. The rollback. Stick side bouncers will go.
In the first game of the day, at the very end of the third quarter, Richmond's Max Merklinger put a Hail Mary shot on goal from about 25 yards out with time running down in the third quarter. That tied the game. That felt like a big goal at the time. It turned out to be a pivotal goal. Georgetown wins the faceoff. Prince turbos ahead. Bounce shot.
So one thing about this field, this is a shooter's field. It's really compact, tight grass, almost like a putting green, as Kevin Warren calls timeout. But as the night gets cooler, the field sweats a little, and the ball will skim. There's a little less friction on some of those outside bouncers, and that ball skimmed underneath Anderson Moore.
So as a goalie, when you come out at halftime before the third quarter starts, are you
just got to be cognizant
trying
of
to
it.
Gauge how the field plays now?
Absolutely. I mean, back in the day, everything was grass or turf, so every field was different, whether it was mud, whether it was a kind of adobe brick, whether it had clumps of grass at the ball. Nowadays, everyone's playing on plastic, and so goalies have gotten in the habit of playing back on their line, and the plastic, the pellets, really absorb so much of the friction of a bounce shot that slows the ball down. It's a very goalie-friendly field, playing on the fake synthetic surface. Grass surfaces, which I love, and I think the game should be played primarily on grass, much more favorable to shooters.
See, I knew the Hopkins education would come in at some point. Sports science with Quint Kesnick. Patrick Jamison.
Well, we saw it last year in the NCAA tournament. Remember, we had the rain delay, and in the first quarter, both goalies, Entenmann and McNaney, elite goalies, struggled with the wet grass field.
We saw some Jamison saves there. Georgetown's put 15 of its 17 shots on goal, and Quint, we've seen it over the years, guys like Doherty and Tillman Johnson and Liam Entenmann. The value of a hot goalie
This tournament,
cannot be quantified, cannot be qualified.
Why not this year? You know, you look at what we saw from Zach Vigue today of Richmond tomorrow. Big Tasty. Caleb Fyack playing for Ohio State. He's $3 short of 300 pounds, okay? This guy does not give up soft goals. He fills up the net. He's the best in the country. Jack Frassi out of Penn State today had a rough game, but he advances. He's got a lot of experience. It's a guy I trust.
Final 10 ticks. Carroll with a monster first half, 3 goals and an assist. Fires and scores! Aiden Carroll with his 4th, and he gives Georgetown a lead in the waning seconds of quarter number 2.
This just a rip. This one catches Jamison guessing, and the goaltender will point to his chest after this ball goes in. It's a lefty rip, and you see just his hands, the goaltender's hands wobble. He's thinking offside. Right here, left-handed, the typical shot right there is going to be the far low post, but Carroll mixes it up. He stays near side high, and Jamison gets caught guessing. I tell you, the position of goalie nowadays is really, really difficult.
Gerard wins the faceoff, puts it on cage, and he scores! Cal Gerard at the horn!
They're going to look at this one. I'd be shocked if they don't look at the video of this. Looks like the officials are giving it to him.
When he shot it, I thought the ball was out of his stick before the clock hit 0.
Watch him win it forward. Almost a carbon copy of the prior goal by Johnson. Again, a stick side bouncer from 20 yards. Was it tipped or screened?
Second goal of this season, and the first half ends with multiple exclamation points.
Just bizarro world in terms of the last 3 goals. We saw great goalie play, and then all of a sudden everything's going.
2 goals in the final 4 seconds between both teams. We've got Duke head coach John Danowski with us. Coach, describe those final seconds from your vantage point to close that first half. 12 of the 15 draws for Duke. He's back out there.
You know, he was an answer in the Duke-Syracuse game during the regular season here when Duke beat Syracuse.
Ross Prince, 9 out of 14 for Georgetown. Gerard jumped, which means he can't take the next one. And it's Georgetown ball to begin quarter number 3, tied at 7. Winner to Annapolis. And the quarterfinals where either Maryland or Air Force await. Fulton Bayman, a goal and an assist. One of the top assist men in the Big East. Has the short stick, but he's got the best shorty in the country on him, McGuire. Bayman serpents around the crease, changing direction. Top side, that one got a piece of the crossbar. It'll stay with the Hoyas, closest to the ball, where and when it goes out, awarded possession off a shot.
Good look at Fulton Bayman right there. 5 ACL tears. I've never heard anything like it.
Had 3 before he got to Notre Dame, had 2 more in South Bend. He's been through it. Atlanta, Georgia native.
Duke playing man-to-man defense. Look at him pressure the ball.
Goldberg against Jake Wilson, who has played with a short stick and a pole in his career.
Slow to double team the Duke defense.
What does that tell you?
Well, that means if you're Georgetown, you got to beat your man and score and go to the goal. Duke hesitant to double team on some of these matchups.
Goldberg skips it. Far side Miller. Now Ray from the alley, wants no part of McGuire. Goldberg, his pass knocked down. Ray and McGuire battle. Jamison digs it out.
Nice job by Jake Wilson. This is the guy who started his career at Duke as a long pole midi. They've switched him to shorty. He and McGuire switched that pick. They ignore the matchup and just switch it, and it caused them all sorts of problems.
McGuire, Wilson, Gray. Duke can roll out an armada of talented short stick D-middies on you. And now offensively, the Blue Devils a chance to take their first lead. There's Delgado, the breakout star over the last couple of weeks. Sloat from the wing. Fires, and it's saved by Anderson Moore, Big East goalie of the year.
Bounce back save by Moore, who had to deal with that horrendous outside shot for the entirety of halftime.
Anderson Moore, a native of Birmingham, Alabama.
Gotta have a mind like a goldfish, man. You play between the pipes.
Second midfield for Georgetown, due to Maine. 88 in black, high school hockey player. Now Krogan. He had a goal in the first half. The second midfield has produced a couple of tallies, Krogan and Caesar. Here is Caesar, camped out on the far wing. Caesar draws the double, tries to thread it inside to Krogan. Loose ball push on Duke, and that is a shot clock reset to 60. Dudemain trying to get to that left hand. Gray denies. Krogan dumps it behind the cage. Bayman against Menendez, the freshman. His shot saved by Jamison, now in double digits.
I like the level change by Bayman. Jamison wasn't buying it. That's a stinger. Talked earlier about Duke's failure in the clearing department this year. Number 54 in the country coming into this game clearing at 84%, and that has haunted them at some big moments.
Hoyas with 45 on the shot clock. Bayman using the pick from Goldberg. Back to the senior from Delray Beach, Florida. Goldberg on the freshman Nolan. 30 to shoot. Here's Carroll. He's been the offense. Ran out of an angle. Bayman defended by the freshman Menendez. Bayman slips. 15 to shoot. Now Carroll's got a shorty. Top side, and he does it again. 5 for Aiden Carroll.
Five straight by Carroll. He's been Georgetown's only goal scorer since the first quarter. This is a little bit of a lever shot. He shoots this really before you think he should. He's got the short stick matchup. Duke doesn't double team him, and he shoots it over the defender. It's a pretty well played defensively when you look at Jack Gray's in position. But that's one reason why midfield defenders are at a disadvantage. They don't have the length of that stick to impact the hands, the stick head of the shooter. And Carroll just shoots through that defensive pressure.
15 points, make it 16 points in his last 2 games. 8-2 in the Big East Championship, 5-1 today. And another face-off violation, this time on Engelke. So Georgetown has been winning the battle at X. They've won 11 of 16 face-offs. Prince has won 10 out of 15. We've seen Carroll score in so many different ways. That's a shot. Caesar. Here we've seen him score as a Dodger. We've seen him score off ball.
I think that's why the PLL, I think that's why it went so early in the draft.
Here he is again on Charlie Johnson. Good defense there by Johnson.
He's got ample speed. Again, he's played attack now in college. He's going to be a midfielder at the pro level, but he can run through checks. He's got good acceleration. We've seen him operate around goal line extended, behind the net. We've seen him from the wing.
Bayman gets the shorty thanks to the Caesar pick. Had Caesar on the doorstep. The skip was the right idea. but a whiff. 4 white shirts, and now Jamison out of the carnage. Mac Christmas rumbles through the Georgetown ride. Duke has never led in this game. They trailed by as many as 3 on 2 different occasions. 3-0 and 6-3. A chance to get even again here at 8-8 if they can score. And the second midfield gets some run. Cusalito, Blake, and Papendick.
Thought Duke had some success initiating from behind the goal in that second quarter.
Bolivar, his pass gets away from McAdory. Turnover.
Restart ready.
Carroll matched up with Johnson off the restart.
McAdory caught on defense. 2 in white, right in the middle of the field.
Now, if you're Georgetown here, Quint, are you going to try to run him a little bit?
They're actually going to pull their long pole, Charlie McGurran, off to the far sideline and play this 5-on-5 for a bit.
Now McGurran runs back over, so does McAdory. Out of the box comes Ray, bulldozing down the alley.
Still playing a little offensive hangman, top left of your screen.
Ray again. Now Carroll. He scored the last 5. Split dodge and a score! Aiden Carroll is feeling it!
This is the ball. That's how hot he is. He's Steph Curry draining 5 consecutive threes.
Aiden Carroll right now is playing like he stole fire from Olympus. Acton vacuums the ground ball.
And you see how
he's got it right now, and he's earned a few heat checks.
And you see how that just empowers his teammates. The captain is leading through his play.
First solo captain of the Kevin Warren era. We've already seen one unseeded team win today. Bayman turns the corner, denied. Rolling toward the sideline. Big ground ball. You call a timeout here for Georgetown. No, Dudemain.
Too early.
Great catch. Back up top. Hesitation. Shot and a score. Off the scramble, it's Krogan. 3 unanswered to begin the third quarter by the Hoyas.
This team in these black jerseys with these chrome helmets, man, they have found just a different performance level over their last 4 or 5 games. The scrappy play in the corner. Do you call timeout? No. Dudemain almost gets his teammate absolutely killed. The catch, the pump and go. Georgetown can thrive in chaos. Krogan, the righty from Lexington, Mass, finds the net, and the celebration continues. That's 3 straight Georgetown goals in the third quarter.
Lexington, Massachusetts, the site of the first battle of the American Revolution. A 3-0 run by Georgetown to take the lead. Third time today Georgetown's had a 3-goal lead. Prince over to the wing. Carroll dropped it. Rare mistake by Carroll, who has 6 goals on 8 shots.
Is that 1 by sea, 2 by land, 6 by Carroll?
It might be. We might have to change the midnight rite of Paul Revere. Heads up Longfellow. There is Bayman, marked by Johnson. Carroll. Right hand free. That one hit his own teammate. Bayman pulls it out of the crease. Boyer scoops up the ground ball for Duke.
Nice job by Charlie Johnson, 27, ties it up, and 11 in white, cleans the trash. I love defensive players who can end possessions with ground balls.
Duke, the counter. That was Warrington.
Oh, Anderson Moore beat him to the end line. That's where his athleticism, I talked about it in our open. He's terrific in the ride game. He gets tons of ground balls, and he wins the run out.
Joe Caesar, 32 in black.
Ebbs and flows. Duke had all the momentum at halftime. Georgetown's taking it back.
Caesar isolates the shorty Wilson. Veers to X. Carroll setting the pick if he wants it. Caesar dumps it behind the cage. Here comes Carroll on Johnson. Carroll, shot, missed the cage. Krogan is there. Turns the corner and scores. 4 unanswered by the Hoyas, and they've got their biggest lead.
Duke's defense is struggling to recalibrate after the first shot right here. Okay, you're good defensively, and now all of a sudden things break down, and nobody's ready to help out. 27, Charlie Johnson is on Carroll. Carroll's on the ground, but Johnson doesn't want to leave him because the guy's on fire. And Krogan then has a free path right-handed to take that extra step to greatness.
And Georgetown gets possession again. 15 out of 20 face-offs. One now by the Hoyas. Georgetown came into this game on a 4-game win streak. Average margin of victory in those games, 10 goals. Krogan has scored the last 2. He's got a hat trick. Carroll's got 6. Christmas snatches it out of the air.
6'4" sophomore, passing the stick in the passing lane's got 7 goals on the season.
Now McAdory, Duke's most dynamic threat offensively. Blue Devils waiting for their first midfield. Duke has run its first midfield a lot tonight.
I think Georgetown has really covered Sloat and Johnston well.
Johnston's got the short stick, Ranison. Delgado's had a quiet game. 3 straight multi-goal games for Tomas Delgado. Former top 10 recruit, a sophomore.
Watch the quick slide. Watch the quick double team. Well, Georgetown is really...
McAdory, he'll shake. And Georgetown's defense now forcing Duke to play late into the shot clock. Shot on the run, Johnston finds the back of the net.
Wow, Kevin Warren can't believe it. He's turning to his bench saying, where was the slide? Where was the slide? Johnston, right to left. This is why he's one of the most feared isolation dodgers in the country. Illinois native, just goes downhill here. This is beautiful. Right to left, full speed. Watch the location of the shot. Offside hip. Good luck with that one.
It's the first goal of the second half for Duke. Second of the game for Johnston.
A natural right-handed player going to his offhand there. And that's why he was the number 4 recruit in the country, according to Inside Lacrosse.
He scored one of the biggest goals of the season, the game winner in overtime to beat Virginia at the end of the regular season. That win allowed Duke to get into the ACC tournament. Now Duke having trouble with a clear, unforced error, and Georgetown gets it back with 3:03 to go in the quarter.
Only 84% on the season in the clearing department. That's good for 54th in the country out of 74 teams that play D1 lacrosse. Not good.
You said it on the selection show. This tournament Had all the makings to get chaotic.
Just don't think there's massive separation this year.
Bayman to Carroll. Jamison has 11 saves tonight. 22 of Georgetown's 30 shots have been on goal.
Duke has handled the pick game pretty well.
Here's Dudamay, 9 points in his last 4 games. Missed most of the season with an injury. Plays it back to Bayman. 25 to shoot. Caesar with 15. Carroll, 6 goals. Runs out of an angle. Bayman, top side for the score. For Kevin Warren, that's textbook execution. Play late into the shot clock and then score the back-breaking goal.
Watch Bayman. He'll start at the point behind. When Carroll's isolating, you watch number 2, how he fades and beats the freshman defender up the hash. That defender's kind of been put in a bind there. Does he go behind the net and give up a step, or does he come in front of the goal and give up a step? And in modern offenses, that is really a point of emphasis. You see that severe alley dodge, and that player at X will try to hang up the defender.
Meanwhile, Aiden Carroll with the assist, up to 8 points. 18 points now in his last 2 games. Gerard violates. It's Georgetown ball.
Late in the shot clock, I'll say, in that last goal, Anish, it's better to come in front. Because if Bayman catches that back and you're in front, it's a hung situation. But it's late in the shot clock. The shot clock was less than 10 seconds to go. That works in your favor defensively.
There's Ray.
Your other option defensively is to press out.
Georgetown coughs it up. Blue Devils coming the other way. Warrington for McAdory, and Duke turns it over.
Thought that might have been tipped. It wasn't.
Now Quint Duke wants to play that game, take advantage of their athletes.
Georgetown did a nice job there, and he's slow playing and saying, we're not coming off these attackmen. You can carry this in a bit, and they put him in a bind there. It's tough to make that pass across your body running full speed.
Now we saw this now in the Richmond to North Carolina game. UNC made a mistake late in the 3rd quarter.
Win the last minute of every period. It's essential in the tournament. Win the last minute.
Georgetown can hold for 1. Carolina in a similar spot, went early. Richmond got the ball and then scored on a Hail Mary goal.
Seconds. They left 13 seconds. They missed the net. And somehow Richmond advanced the ball down the field and scored on a 23-yarder.
Caesar. Nice move. Shot. Turned away. Christmas scoops.
Too much time. He left too much time on the clock.
Jamison catapults it ahead. Too far. And Warrington able to keep it in bounds.
Push it.
2 seconds. 1 second. I don't think he knew how much time was left. And that's how quarter number 3 ends. This was a 7-7 game at halftime. Georgetown with a 5-1 3rd quarter. Been in control. For the Hoyas, what's paramount if they are to finish off Duke in the 4th quarter?
Possession. Everything starts with possession in the tournament. Face-offs, ground balls, saves, clearing, maximizing possessions, making Duke chase you.
How do the Blue Devils conjure up a comeback?
Well, they need to find a spark again. Transition plays, find an easy goal, work hard, draw a penalty, score on the extra man, and your star's got to come to the table, Anish.
Ben McCarthy at the face-off X. Duke gets the ball to begin the 4th quarter. Down by 4. Largest deficit of the game.
McGuire likes this matchup. You know, he's a defensive midfielder, but he's a good enough athlete. He can run just right by this man. Now he's going to give it up. Ben Johnston, Max Sloat, Andrew McAdory. Now is the time.
Tomas Delgado looking to get on the board. Sloat has a goal with his offhand today. McAdory. Inside roll not there, defended well by the freshman Plath.
With Duke's offensive sets in each. Too often they have two offensive players behind the net. Their defenders are in front of the goal line extended. You're effectively playing 4 versus 6.
Moliver to Kershus. 20 to shoot. Kershus against Ranazan. Looking for the skip to Moliver. It trickles into the restraining area. Now the shot clock is at 10. Johnston dangerous on the run. Feeding the crease. Kershus whiffs. Ty Banks, Big East Defensive Player of the Year, is there for Georgetown. Hoya's trouble with the clear. Loose ball.
Clearing
on the ground.
Still on the clock.
Georgetown gets it across before that shot clock hits 60.
So Duke's offense at times in this ball game, they're operating with 2 attackmen behind the net. The defenders for Georgetown are north in front of the goal. So Georgetown's got 6 defenders in front of the goal. Duke's only got 4 offensive players. The math doesn't work for Duke on offense.
Kevin Miller, 49 in black. Highest scoring midi for Georgetown. Bayman, 2 goals and an assist. Carroll's been the big star tonight. 6 goals, 2 helpers. Defended by Duke's best, Charlie Johnson.
Keep attacking.
They find the cutting Carroll. Good look, and he missed. The amount of ways Carroll has been able to get his shots tonight has been impressive. Bayman against the freshman Menendez. Fulton Bayman shot, snuffed out. Save Jamison.
Clean saves lead to runouts. Good job by Georgetown's attack to hustle down McGuire and take away the transition.
Papendick across the equator. Winner to Annapolis and to the quarterfinals, where either Maryland or Air Force will be waiting. Terps and Falcons play tomorrow. Maryland, the 2 seed. Papendick, part of that second midfield. He's played attack in midfield this year. McAdory, Kershus, Blake, not there. It stays with Duke. 28 to shoot.
Nice recovery.
More than 11 and a half to play.
By James Carroll, 66.
McAdory defended well by Banks. Papendick, eyes up. McAdory again. Cusalito now. Played against Georgetown in the Big East at Providence. Feeds in front. Blake whistles it offline. Only 6 on the shot clock. Now they say 5. Moliver, Duke's top point getter. He'll trigger against the freshman Plath. Plath amongst the best at takeaways. Now they add a second back, so the shot clock reads 6. Here comes Moliver. Somehow, from an impossible angle.
Moliver's miracle defies geometry. I'm not sure how he snuck this by Anderson Moore, but it was the prayer answered for a Duke offense that was looking at a shot clock violation. A split, left to right, runs up the hash, and beats Anderson Moore near side high. This angle will be sensational. Wow.
It's the second goal for Moliver. 34th on the season. McCarthy and Prince. Prince wins the faceoff, pushes ahead. Carroll backpedals, puts the brakes on. Georgetown will wait for its offensive personnel.
Tons of time left in this ball game. If you're a Hoya, you got to keep attacking. That's what we've learned in the shot clock era.
Yeah.
You can't look at the clock and you can't back your way or stall your way to victories.
Not with 11 minutes.
Back in the old days, maybe, yeah. You put that ball on ice for a couple minutes. It's not how the game works anymore.
Christmas picks up Krogan. Ransom's been quiet. Charlotte kid. Krogan with a hat trick over to the wing. Caesar behind the cage. And Jamison able to pick it up for Duke.
Georgetown makes the one more pass. Missed the handle.
Tomorrow night, final 2 episodes of Full Court Press Season 2 at 9 and 10 Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN+. The last of 4 games today. Day 1, round 1. Day 2 tomorrow begins with Notre Dame, the 2-time defending champs, going to Ohio State to take on the Big Ten tournament champions, the Buckeyes. 9.5 left. Johnston, left hand, Moore, turns it away.
Kid from Birmingham really moved his feet well on that one.
Big ground ball, Johnston and Erb make it. Sloat and Erb collide. It's shoveled ahead. Banks on the doorstep and Ransom. The Carolina kid makes it 13-9.
End-to-end starts with Anderson Moore. Watch him dig this one out. He was beat earlier in the game on a low bouncer because he didn't move his feet. Look at that. That's textbook. Step into the ball. Rebound comes way up the field. Look at Ty Banks, 17. He's a close defender. He's also a ball hawk. Jams it inside. And Ransom, he don't miss.
Golden eye. 2/3 of his shots on goal. Played for Team 91, our good buddy Ryan Flanagan, out in the Charlotte area. And Ryan was telling me this week, Jack Ransom's a kid. Every time he comes back to the Queen City, coaches up the younger kids, shoots on the goalies, gives back to his city. And he's had a couple of monster games late in the season, had 9 goals against Villanova in the regular season finale, 6 against St. John's. He's given the Hoyas a 4-goal lead with less than 9 minutes to play. Papendick wheeling down the alley, defended by Hawes. Flips it to Molliver. Molliver, shot missed the cage. Duke ball, 38 on the shot clock.
Looking for the left-handed version of his prior righty goal from a severe angle.
Cusolito now.
Righty.
Former Providence Friar, he hasn't scored in more than 2 months.
A 32, he's all righty. I mean, he couldn't go left on a green arrow.
Curtius. More, the denial.
Gotta love the hands. That top hand speed.
If you're Georgetown, Quint, is it too early to play clock, or are you still being aggressive?
I think you got to continue to attack. You may want to kill about 30 or 40 before you do so. But it's hard to slow down and then speed up.
Great point. Cade Goldberg inverts. Shaded by Jack Gray, a PLL draft pick.
You can't be looking at the clock with 7 minutes to go. Under 5, yeah, I get it. Not with 7.
Goldberg, feet in front, shot, score! Ransom again.
They can feel it. That means turning up the ride, because you're at a point now, down 5 with 7 minutes to go, that the status quo won't go.
And the other problem for Duke right now, Ross Prince is winning faceoffs. When you're trying to come back, you need to win faceoffs.
And you see him pressing out and really guarding the ball, overplaying the ball right here. Look at McGuire go to work.
McGuire is all over Ransom, the freshman. And a timeout by Georgetown with 6:47 to go. So Kevin Warren wants a reset out of the timeout.
Tell you, he's got that high-pitched walrus voice to call timeout there. Now they're going to have to set up. Does Duke bring the pressure right here, right away?
Do you?
Nah, with 7 minutes to go, basically, I don't. But you're aware of it if you're Georgetown.
Quint, you're down 5. It's your season, and you haven't been winning faceoffs.
You could. I mean, if he did it, I wouldn't criticize him. But is it too early? And there's Ronnie Caputo. He's a defensive coordinator in the blue shirt with the white hat.
That 14 for Georgetown in the scoring column tonight, just for context, they're doing it against a Duke defense that we've seen a lot this year, Quint. Yeah. We have believed it to be championship caliber. Last 6 games, they've held all 6 opponents below 10. There's still almost 7 minutes to go, and Georgetown's put up 14. What Kevin Warren's team has done down the stretch, and the way they have changed the trajectory of their season from a 7-3 loss to Denver on the 12th of April, awfully impressive.
Just found a different product to put on the field. If this result holds, Anish, I will say the first reaction is going to be, what a dismal day for the ACC here in Tobacco Road.
Absolutely. North Carolina going down to Richmond.
There is no other analysis. That's at the end of the day, it's Carolina loses a home game, Duke loses a home game, and here does come the double team. Jameson's out of the net, covering Ransom, 19.
Fulton Bayman trying to escape from Johnson and barred. Bayman turns the corner, puts it in. They can sense it on the Hoya sideline, down on their knees when Bayman scores.
Five ACLs. His surgeons, the rehab people, deserve a medal, and his heart. You think about, you get tested in sports. So he's gotten tested 5 times. And where does that speed come from? Wow.
After 5 ACL injuries.
So appreciative, so humble, lets his effort do the talking. Got so much respect for that young man.
McCarthy and Prince. If Duke has any hope, it's got to start at the face-off X. McCarthy had it for a moment. Bard able to shovel it. Now here's Christmas. He is a threat. Christmas puts one on Cage. Duke gets one back. A quick score off a face-off win. It's 15-10.
Should Bayman have carried that ball around and maintained possession? At this stage, is possession more important than the goal? Because then you come to a face-off. And in the sport of lacrosse, you're not guaranteed possession. You think about that. Georgetown may not have the ball for the rest of this game. That's possible. We've seen that happen. Christmas has been a weapon, major weapon in transition, and he's got such torque and length. You watch the replay, good luck saving that thing. It's released from the second floor.
8th goal of the season for the sophomore out of Bethesda, Maryland. Duke riding with Ben McCarthy, the freshman, at the face-off X. Came into this game 0 for 10 in his last 4. He jumped, so he can't take the next one. Georgetown ball up 5.
And here comes the press. Here comes the press. You better handle it.
Jamison still in the cage. Hoyas have 1 timeout.
Field balance is critical right now for Georgetown. You want to spread things out, maintain somebody up top that can get back into the hole and deny transition.
The 15 goals Duke has given up, tied for the most they've allowed all season. They gave up 15 in a loss to Princeton. Duke gets the turnover. Menendez galloping the other way. Over to Christmas. 5.5 to go. 5-goal deficit. Molliver, a former national champion at Maryland. McAdory against Banks. Now it's Johnston, picked up by McGurran. Johnston fires on the run, missed the cage. Moore credited with the backup. It's Georgetown ball with 5:17 remaining.
He's done that multiple times in this game. He's amazing at turning the corner there. 10-man ride is in full effect. Goal is empty.
Georgetown heaves it downfield. It is caught out of a double team, and then Duke able to get the dislodge. Johnson over to Kershus. McAdory from the wing fires low.
Georgetown's offsides.
Feet in front, shot by Kershus, and Duke cuts it to 4. They're going to pick up the flag. Penalty waved off. Duke down 4, 4:49 to go. Far from over.
Far from over. A goal a minute is easily accomplished. The double team in the middle of the field, ball's on the carpet, and Duke gets up and runs, and you see the chaos all of a sudden. Georgetown sends 7 back on defense. That was the flag. Does it matter? No, McAdory just slings it. Great save, rebound, kicked in front, turn and rake. Duke's playing with ridiculous urgency.
The largest lead for Georgetown tonight, 6. That was at 15-9. Hoyas have never trailed. Cal Gerard back at the faceoff X. Prince bullies his way to the faceoff win. Prince accelerates, trail check, loose in front.
Don't love that
possession.
decision. Don't love it.
And now Duke can attack the other way.
That's a freshman.
Here comes McGuire. Fires on the run. Moore the save. Blue Devils not going down without a fight. Into their 10-man ride. Georgetown puts it on the empty net. That's a shot. And they had the backup, and now expect them to milk as much of this clock as they can.
Cade Goldberg.
Carroll, his shot blocked.
What are we doing? What are we doing is what Kevin Warren yells out. What are we doing?
Why was Georgetown rushing?
Clock is more important than getting more goals at this stage.
4-goal lead. Less than 4 minutes to go. A full shot clock is 80. Johnston. Marked by Banks. You can feel the urgency here in Durham. Delgado, not much on the bouncer. Moore is there.
That hurts. This is critical for Georgetown. Just try to kill a minute with this possession.
Banks instead fires it on goal. Jamison intercepts it. It goes right back to Duke. Hoyas keep leaving the door open.
It was a good idea until it wasn't, and then it becomes a horrible idea.
Kershus inside, off the crossbar. It'll stay with Duke. 3:14 left.
This game has gone sideways. It's completely off the rail. Kevin Warren's got to be saying, do I want to use my last time out now? Do I want to use my... I don't like the way this thing is going.
Ben Johnston initiating for Duke. His shot looked like Moore got a piece. 3 minutes left. Georgetown nursing a 4-goal lead. McAdory riding Moore. Again, the net is open. Duke in a 10-man ride. The Lacrosse equivalent of a full-court press. Georgetown has to get it across midfield before the shot clock hits 60.
Empty net's enticing.
Moore tosses it downfield, another turnover. It goes right back to Duke.
Oh, wow.
This is wild. Here's McAdory now. Doubled. Johnston, he'll get a good look. Step down, save! On the rebound, did that get a piece of Molliver's stick? It did. And it goes to Georgetown. It's hot potato. You take it. No, you take it.
A little too much spice on that pass. Was that a kick saved by Moore prior to that, or that was a post?
That's a shot on goal. And Georgetown has the backup. So Georgetown electing to shoot on the empty net and try to win the race for the backup a couple of times. Jamison picked off the pass, and now a timeout by Kevin Warren. Hands on his hip.
Everybody needs some oxygen, huh?
2:14 to go.
Look at him. He's able to laugh about it. Perhaps, if he can hold on. That was chaotic, unlike I can remember in a long time, Anish.
It was just back and forth. Fast lacrosse, but questionable decision making
on both sides. It's like, I'll make a bad decision. No, that gives me the right to make a bad decision.
The winner will move on to Annapolis in the quarters to take on either Maryland or Air Force. And listen, we have said this over and over. This season, this bracket, not that there isn't a clear number one. Cornell has established itself as the clear number one.
Yes.
They're the team to beat. Go down the rest of the way. We get to the quarterfinals, Quint. I'm not sure there's a result that would surprise anybody.
No, exactly. The gap between the top contenders is very slim. You take Cornell, for example. They beat Richmond by 1 goal. That was a game that Richmond was leading 6-1 and then 11-8 in the second half. So there's not that much separation. That would potentially, if Cornell can beat Albany, that would be your 1-8 game. That's just an example of that.
And we could get Richmond-Cornell very well in the quarters. For now, 2:14 to go in this one. You see the history of the 7 seed of late in this tournament. John Danowski's won a national championship as a 7 seed. He coached Kevin Warren at Hofstra. Georgetown with the ball, no timeout. So the message in that huddle for Kevin Warren had to be what?
Understand that possession and time at this stage more important than getting your 16th goal.
And now Duke will try to force a turnover. Then they've got to score and win faceoffs. They double Bayman. He splits the double, turns the corner, backhanded dive is good. 4 goals for the former Notre Dame attackman, Fulton Bayman.
He's been unstoppable. His passion. Watch him go right between the double team. They try to pinch him. They can't do it. Backhanded shot while he's in the air. Graduate transfer from Notre Dame. Played for a great club program in the Atlanta area growing up.
Most goals given up by Duke this season. Face-off won by Prince. Georgetown in the last 5 games, Quint. This after scoring 3 against Denver, 21 against St. John's, 17 against Villanova, 19 in the Big East semi against Marquette, 16 against Nova in the Big East championship.
Yeah.
And then 16 today. And yes, a few empty netters late when Duke had to ride.
John Hogan, their offensive coordinator, David Shriver, their assistant coach. We spoke to them pregame.
Krogan's shot is blocked.
And you talk about hitting rock bottom after that Denver game. You score 3 goals in a college lacrosse game.
Duke gives it back. Georgetown has it. Their fans rise to their feet here on Duke's home turf. Carroll was looking for maybe one more for good measure. Final minute. And I'll tell you what, Quint, the way Georgetown has now played over the next 5 games, I'm not sure it would surprise anybody if they won at least one more game, maybe more.
All season long, we talked about just get in the bracket and get hot at the right time. That's what they've done.
Duke emptying some of its bench. That's Liam McLean who misses 40 seconds.
Back-to-back disappointing finishes for the Duke Blue Devils. You go back to last year, a quarterfinal loss to Maryland. This game will hurt.
A flag is down. McAdory's shot saved. And now we'll get the penalty. 25 seconds to go. Tobacco Road about to go 0 for 2 here in round one. Richmond beat Carolina earlier today. The Spiders unseeded. Georgetown 25 seconds from knocking off Duke. The Hoyas unseeded. McGurran in the sin bin. Duke with the extra man. 25 seconds and ticking. Sloat gets one for the Blue Devils. 19 seconds to go. Now, if you want to play this game, Quint, at the end of the first half, what did we have, 3 goals in the last 19 seconds?
This would be impossible, Nish. Don't be silly. They need 4 goals in 19 seconds.
So you need 4. That's the point I was making. We saw 3 in 19. You would need 4. And Prince has been a tough cookie at the face-off X.
If you're Georgetown, you're just trying to tie this ball up.
McCarthy and Prince. McCarthy wins it back, lost it. Prince has it. Aiden Carroll with the ball in his stick. He's been on a run. 10 points last time out, 8 points tonight. They're feeling the Hoya paranoia in Durham. Georgetown takes down Duke, and the Hoyas move on to the quarterfinals.
Epic performance by Aiden Carroll, Fulton Bayman. Defense had a plan to deal with the Duke stars. Ty Banks was awesome. Fogo Ross Prince. This is a team that has come to age. They found their best ball at the exact right moment.
You've said it over the years, Quint. The race to improve.